going to be relevant to you if you're a fast track student. Let me go ahead and start the presentation. First of all, I would encourage you to put your microphone in the mute because the collective background noise can be very disruptive, and also your cameras should be turned off. If you did not RSVP to our request, please write your name and email address in the chat box so we can record it and send you the orientation packet. Any questions you have, you can type it in the chat box. We will try to answer the questions at the end. We have a question and answer session at the end. So if you can, please hold off your questions because we want to make sure we cover everything that we planning to do today. So how we're going to do this? First of all, we have a welcome message for our beloved department head, Professor Dinesh Bhatia, and then we will get into the ISSO presentation. This is the International Students and Scholars Office. We have a large population of folks that are international students. This is a very critical part of the your education. Here you have to make sure that you're complying with all the ISSO guidelines. And then we have Office of Graduate Education. This is another important office that deals with your degree plan, with your approval of your graduation. So we have someone present that concept on that area as well. And then we are going to go overview of the Johnson School and ECE department. We will talk about different concentration areas, and then talk about registration and some other critical information actually toward the end. So first, let me introduce the department head for ECE is Dr. Dinesh Bhatia, and I think he's here, so I'm going to have him go ahead and speak to us about the department. Dinesh?
Thank you, Professor Kiasale, and welcome everyone. I think this is truly a global event. I see people that are coming from various locations all over the world, and I too myself, I'm traveling. Right now I'm coming to you from Washington, D.C. Professor Cameron is in Dallas, Texas, and I'm really delighted to be with you this afternoon. Here in the US. I know it is almost midnight somewhere out there in Eastern Asian locations. The Department of Electrical and Computer Engineering here at UTD, it is undergoing some transformation, and I'm really delighted that you are going to join us during this transformative times. We are making some very progressive changes in our degree plans. Some of you might have noticed in the catalog descriptions. We will continue to add more very exciting courses towards Masters of Science in Electrical Engineering. We already made changes to Masters of Science in Computer Engineering, and our doctoral programs continue to grow. And I'm glad and really proud to say to you that our doctoral program is definitely, it is the largest in the university, and it is one of the largest and very well received program in the nation. Dallas, Texas is an exciting place to be. It is one of the fastest growing cities in the United States right now. This is a place that brings excitement in the form of a large number of technology firms that are surrounded. Most of you are familiar with the big name like Texas Instruments, but including Texas Instruments, there are so many other companies that provide opportunities to our students who are coming into our programs. UTD, which is located in the northern Dallas, North Texas region, is surrounded by some of the best companies, and we have very close working relationship with most of the companies. The department offers exciting opportunities at all levels of education. So for those of you who are coming in from undergraduate program into fast track, I tell you that the faculty is willing and is Really looking forward to engaging with you. Please reach out to faculty and try to get engaged in the labs. Those of you who are coming new into the master's programs, please come and talk to us. We like talking to students. We like working with students. So besides taking your classes and courses, please do come and talk to us. We would be very happy if we can help you in any possible ways. And those of you who are coming into our doctoral programs, I welcome you. You are coming in for an exciting journey. Uh, Professor Cameron Kiasile is going to lead the rest of the day today. When you come here to UTD, I want each one of you to make it a point that please come and see me. You will probably end up seeing me in the hallways. You're welcome to come and visit me in my office. I'm happy to talk to each one of you. And when you're formally here, we will also have a welcome event for each one of you. In addition, we do get quite a few students who come in from Indian subcontinent. So those of you who would like to meet with me, I am actually traveling to India and will be in Delhi as well as Hyderabad. If you reach out and send me an email message, I can give you my contact, and I'm willing and happy to talk to you while I'm traveling there. So with that, I will again say best of luck. Good luck to you in your academic journey. I am glad that you gave us an opportunity to be part of your academic journey, and we welcome you to the UT Dallas, Johnson School, and the Department of Electrical and Computer Engineering. Again, good afternoon from Washington, and I look forward to meeting each one of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dinesh, for this wonderful presentation. I want to, first of all, thank you all for joining us from a different time zone. I understand that it could be quite late. Really appreciate that. And then before I turn the microphone to Jennifer, who's going to talk to us about the ISSO, I just want to point out that, as Professor Bhatia pointed out, UTD and where we are located and the school that we are, it is an excellent opportunity for growth. And I came here as a young graduate in 1987, previous century, and I have stayed here. So that should say something about this university and where it's located and the opportunities that exist here. So I thought to mention that. Now, Jennifer, are you here? If you are, please go ahead and start making the presentation for the ISSO.
I'm here. Thank you so much, and good afternoon to everyone. Thank you to the department for having me. It's very nice to be here with all of you. As previously mentioned, I understand that it is quite late for some of you if you are abroad, and so thank you again for being here. As mentioned, my name is Jennifer Garcia, and I am one of the assistant directors at the ISSO, the International Students and Scholars Office. And I'm here to talk to you a little bit more about the process, what our office does, and some of the requirements that are obligated to follow. So for those of you who have received admission to the program, the very next step is for you to obtain your I-20. It is a requirement for you to study here in the United States. I would like to say some of our numbers have changed. So as of today, we're a little bit closer to 900 students already having received their I-20 for spring 2024. So we're very excited about that. Any remaining requests, if you've already gotten to this point, you've applied for the I-20 through iComment, we are working through those rather quickly, and so we will be, you should be receiving communication from our office. And if you have any more questions, we have very thorough instructions. If you just, even if you search UT Dallas apply I-20, you can find us there and get some more information on how to apply and the requirements to apply for the I-20 as well. Okay, so after you've obtained the I-20, the next step is for you to apply for the F1 visa. I know this is a very tricky step for a lot of students, and so you want to verify the information first on your I-20, make sure all of that's correct. Another very important step is to pay the CVIS fee, the CVIS I-901 fee. You are required to pay that. It does go to the U.S. government in order for you to obtain a visa interview. Next, you'll want to complete something called the DS-160 online non-immigrant visa application. It is completely online. This is also a requirement for you to obtain a visa appointment. And so this will, along with your interview, is going to determine if you are approved or not for the F1 visa. So it's very important that you complete those two steps as soon as you can. And along with that, you want to demonstrate that you are a bona fide student with non-immigrant intent. Very important part of the process. I think a lot of students focus on financials, things like that, but really they want to know that you are a student. They want to know why you chose UT Dallas, why you chose this program, and what you're going to do after you've obtained your degree. So have those things in mind as you are preparing for the F1 visa. And something else important to know is that earlier this year, the Department of State did revise its policies to now allow the consular officers to issue F1 visas 365 days before a student's program start date. Previously, it was 120 days. So what this means is if for whatever reason you're not able to join your program at your hopeful start date, if you happen to defer your admission for whatever reason, you can still apply for the visa and obtain it at least up to a year before your program start date. So that gives you plenty of time to be prepared and ready to come to UT Dallas immigration-wise. Okay, so preparing for the visa interview, I think a lot of our international students have questions regarding how to prepare. So of course, as I mentioned, receiving your I-20, paying the I-901 fee, and applying for the visa appointment are the very next steps. After that, you'll want to gather your documents. Again, our website has a very thorough list of the documents that you will need to take with you to the visa interview. And then depending where you are in the world, you'll want to review the consulate or embassy's website to see if there are any further requirements or instructions that you need to complete before your visa interview. Regulations, and so that is something that you want to keep in mind and look into beforehand. The next is you'll want to prepare for those interview questions. So as I mentioned, a lot of students focus more on the financial part of their document, but that's just one small piece of the visa interview. The visa officer could ask you questions about your academic program. As I mentioned before, why did you choose UT Dallas? What are you going to do after you complete your program? They may ask you about a little bit about your finances. So if you have a loan or if you're being sponsored, they may ask you questions regarding that. If you've been to the US before, or if you've traveled abroad before, they could ask you questions regarding your immigration history, and then ties back to your home country. So again, they really want to know at the time of your interview that after you've completed your program, you will return back to your home country. Again, on our website, we do have a very helpful PDF file that we've received questions from previous students about the different interview questions they've received. And so we have that available for you to practice, have some answers ready. We want you to be as prepared as you can be going into the interview. The interview itself is about 2, maybe 3 minutes long. So it goes by very, very fast. So we want you, again, to be prepared, confident as you're going in, honest as well. These officers are trained to see if someone is lying or withholding some information. And so be yourself, be honest, be as confident. You are an incoming comet. You are planning to come to UT Dallas. So make sure that your answers are genuine from yourself and that you're prepared to answer the various questions you could be asked at the time of your visa interview. Okay, so hopefully if all goes well, you've received your visa, you're preparing to come to UT Dallas. There's some important things to remember as you are traveling and then requesting admission to the US. So you cannot arrive here more than 30 days before your program start date. You will find that date on your I-20. So again, it's very important that you do refer to that document. It has a lot of important information. You want to be prepared with documentation and questions as you arrive here in the United States, whether your first stop might be Los Angeles, New York, or Dallas. You'll want to be prepared almost with the same documentation as your visa interview. And the CBP officer at the port of entry might also ask you similar questions as your visa interview. So what are you doing here? What are your plans? How long do you plan on being here? Various questions like that. Something very important to keep in mind is that it is at the CBP officer's discretion to allow you entry into the US. So just because you have an I-20 and just because you have a visa does not guarantee entry into the US. So you're still requesting entry into the US, and that is completely up to the officer at the port of entry. Again, on our website, we have lots of resources available for you. And so we have a short video that explains the process of what it looks like entering into the US and a little bit more about what you can expect there at any of the port of entries here in the US. Another important tip that we like to inform students is to check their I-94. So the I-94, it's an electronic immigration document that confirms your legal entry into the US as an F1 international student. So it's available to you almost automatically after you've been granted admission, and you can check it on your phone if you log onto the airport Wi-Fi. You can check the I-94 there, make sure that your name is spelled correctly, that they put that you entered in as an F1 student. And so if there's any errors or something that they need to fix, you can just contact one of the CBP officers and they can assist you with correcting the errors that's on there. Another important tip we like to provide our international students as they are preparing traveling to the US is to plan ahead. So you do not know what may happen to you as you arrive. There might be delays, weather. Also, as you are requesting entry, if for whatever reason your identity cannot be confirmed at the time that you are reporting to the CBP officer, they may ask you to come into what is called secondary inspection, and that can take anywhere from 20 minutes to a few hours. So just be prepared as you are planning your trip here to the US. Next, registering for classes. So this is going to be with your academic department. You can check for any holds that you have as an international student in Galaxy. As mentioned at the very beginning, it is important to communicate with your academic department if you have any questions. If you are able to register before you arrive here in the US, you want to make sure that you drop those classes if your plans change. So let's say that your visa was denied, or you're put on administrative processing, or you're not able to obtain a visa appointment, but you've already registered. It's very important that you drop those classes as soon as you can, because you will be financially responsible to pay for those classes, even if you never arrive. So again, it's great that you plan early, you're able to register, but if your plans change, you will need to drop those classes as soon as you can. Okay, enrollment requirements. I think this is one of the most important slides for a lot of our students is enrolling. So international students are required to enroll full-time during long semesters, which is usually fall and spring, unless you've been approved for a reduced course load. So our undergraduate students every semester must enroll in 12 credit hours. Our graduate students must enroll in 9 credit hours. Now, with COVID previously, there was some changes to how many online credits you can enroll in versus face-to-face. Now we're back to pre-COVID time. So right now, though, what the requirements look like is that, for example, if you're a graduate student, you need to enroll in 9 credit hours. 3 of those credits can be online. So that is an acceptable enrollment. If you're doing 3 credit hours in person and 6 online, that would not be meeting the enrollment requirements. And something very important to know is that hybrid courses are considered online. So just keep all of those things in mind as you are planning to enroll for those classes. Okay, so this here we have a timeline. There's lots of deadlines that you should be aware of as students, and especially as international students. So as I previously mentioned, Paying the I-901 fee is very important. One of the first steps you should take after you've received your I-20. So we start sending out communication to students who have not paid 60 days before the start of classes. And so you'll start receiving communication from us on November 17th if you haven't paid. As I mentioned, 30 days is the earliest that you can arrive. So that date would be December 17th, excuse me. And we really do recommend coming as early as you can. There's lots of things that you need to prepare for, meeting with departments, maybe other orientations that you're required to attend, finding housing. And so we want you to have as much time as you can to prepare and be settled in before the start of classes. Classes do start January 16th, and as an international student, you are required to complete what we call new student check-in. I'll get into that shortly. I will mention for late arrival, the ISSO does not encourage or recommend any type of late arrival, even one day. There's risk involved with arriving late. You could be denied entry. If you arrive even later than that, you're missing classes. So lots of things. It's very stressful. And so we highly recommend that you defer your admission. However, our office can issue you a late arrival letter, which can be used at the port of entry. It does not guarantee that you'll be allowed in, but it's something that you can use to help your case as you are requesting entry into the U.S. And deferring your admission is a two-step process as an international student. So first you need to defer your admission with your department, and then you need to request a deferred I-20 with the ISSO. Okay, so checking in. So as you arrive, it is a requirement of the U.S. government that you report to our office. We call this new student check-in. So there's 3 steps that you need to complete prior to the start of classes. Step 1 is updating Galaxy with a new local address. Hopefully, even if it's temporary, you can provide us with that as you're trying to find a more permanent housing. Just let us know that you're here and you have an address that you can provide to us. You will need to attend the Maintaining F1 workshop. This is a requirement. We do provide you with a lot of helpful information to help you succeed at UT Dallas as an international student. And then you'll want to submit your immigration documents through iComment. So that's going to be your I-20, your I-94, a copy of your visa, all of those things you'll want to provide for us. And then once you have that, you are good to start the semester. All right, contacting us. Some of you have already contacted us, I'm sure. We do have various ways that you can get a hold of one of our advisors. We do hold live chat almost every day with an advisor. You can speak very quickly if you're not able to schedule an appointment. I know that scheduling an appointment, they fill up very fast. And so if you're unable to schedule a one-on-one appointment, live chat is a great alternative to that. You can also submit an Ask an Advisor e-form in iComment as well. And then our office does host prospective group chats every other Wednesday, 8:30 Central Standard Time. Okay, so that is it for the ISSO. Again, thank you so much, Professor Cameron, to the department. Thank you for having me. Students, if you have any questions, follow up with us. We'd love to hear from you and help you as best as we can. And best of luck. Thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer. A very informative presentation. Next, we're going to talk about the Office of Graduate Education. I think Ruth is going to present that. Ruth, are you here?
I am.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. Good to see all of you. My name is Ruth Schemmer, and I'm the Assistant Dean for Graduate Student Success through the Office of Graduate Education. I'm here to just tell you quickly what we are all about, so you'll know one more office whenever you arrive on campus if you're not already here. First, I wanted to tell you a little bit about what we do. First of all, we have a dean, Dr. Juan Gonzalez, keeps us all focused on graduate education and on graduate students. Then my team, we work in the professional development realm, so helping to provide events, workshops, resources that will help you be successful while you are here and help you be prepared for what comes next, whatever that next step is. We have writing services available. grant writing services available, workshops on skills development, a little bit into career development, a variety of things that you'll want to start watching for. Your school will have other workshops and events going on, so you'll get those from lots of different places, but it's a good idea to watch all of the resources available. Then the team that works on certification and verification of degrees, they make sure that all of the milestones are being hit as you go through your master's or PhD, so that when it's time to graduate, you can graduate. We want you to be able to do that. And those individuals will be working on a variety of policies, academic questions. Anytime those come up, this would be the team that you would be in touch with. They also do some data collection at the end of your time here in terms of an exit survey. So we try to find out a little bit about what your experience has been like. Okay. And can I make this? Oh, there we go. Okay. Also, those of you who are working on PhDs will definitely come across the dissertation thesis approval group. If you are writing a thesis with your master's degree, which won't be very many, you would also come into contact with that group. They hold formatting workshops, which help you spend less time getting that final manuscript approved and submitted. And they will do that final approval, make sure it's all done by the deadline so that you can graduate when it's time. And speaking of graduation, 3 times each year, we are the planners and hosts for the doctoral hooding ceremony. So those of you who are working on PhDs, there will be an opportunity to attend this particular ceremony where your major advisor puts the hood over, and it's a very official, traditional, formal way of recognizing your accomplishment as somebody who has earned their doctorate at that point. It will occur before commencement so that you are fully hooded and ready to roll if you attend the commencement ceremony as well. And then there's our administrative team. And someone is always at our front desk. It's usually Princess, who will greet you if you come in to see us. And Ladwina and Tangi will provide travel support in terms of knowledge about how to do that, how to file for reimbursement, grants. That may be the time when you come across any of those individuals. And the things I want you to know now about us, because I know you'll be inundated with information. But when you begin to get emails, mass emails through UTD, you will start getting a Monday update from us. And it is the only thing we put in there are events happening around campus that will be of interest to graduate students. So even if you just open it, quickly look at it, decide if you're interested, and then you can delete it, that would be something to keep in mind. We understand that you get lots of emails and that sometimes it can seem a little overwhelming. The only thing I want you to know about that one is that it is always about you. It's always about graduate students. It's only about events that you might find helpful. And I mentioned earlier, there will be times you want to contact us. That main gradeducation@utdallas.edu, we check that email multiple times a day. So even though it seems like it may drop into a black hole, our general email address, as with most offices on campus, there's somebody who's checking that. And we do that as well. So we check those messages. They get routed to whoever needs to get them so we can get back to you. We often recommend that people go ahead and download the UT mobile app at some point. Again, once you're on campus, that would be fine. We use it for large events when we're checking people in, and you'll find that other events and workshops will also use the UTD mobile app for check-in. It's also got a map on it, and we're a little hard to find, so we often refer people to the campus map in order to find us. We have some amazing resources at your disposal. Beyond the Professoriate will focus on PhD students, and it's a career training platform for doctoral students and postdocs. Beyond Graduate School is a master's career training platform, and it is the only one of these, it's the only resource like this that focuses on master's degrees. Both of them are very well done, well resourced. They can serve as supplemental to the services that you will receive from your school's career-based services, from the University Career Center. This is supplemental to all of what you'll get on campus and can be very self-driven, but we believe they are solid resources to be able to offer. And for those of you who may be seeking PhDs and are interested in the faculty, kind of the faculty direction for your research and career plans, we also subscribe to the National Center for Faculty Diversity and Development. Excellent resources for anybody heading down that direction as well. And so finally, just to let you know where we are, this will make, if you are not on campus, this will make no sense at all. Eventually it will. We are between Founders and Berkner, and we're this little slice of the building. I tell people to bring breadcrumbs and so they can get back to where they started. But once you find us, you'll know where we are. We have a lot of our workshops downstairs in a classroom that we can use on a regular basis. You see our website, graduate.utdallas.edu, and we are on social media, on X, formerly known as Twitter, on Instagram, and on Facebook. You're welcome to follow us, join us at any point. So that's kind of what we hope to do, hope to support you in your efforts here and to be a partner with your program and with your school.
Thank you, Ruth, very much.
Thank you.
All right, so I'm going to go now over the overview of the AC department and programs, which I'm sure is going to be of interest to you. From a departmental point of view, these are the administrative staff. Myself, Professor Naufal Al-Dahir is Associate Department Head for Undergraduate Studies. Dr. Aryan Ostratenia is Associate Department Head for Class Scheduling. As far as the Johnson School, that ECE is part of a Johnson School. We have Dr. Stephanie Adams as our Dean. Dr. Boris Balsara is Vice Dean, and Dr. John Hansen deals with the research in Johnson School, and Dr. Joshua Summers, Associate Dean for Undergraduate Education. For those undergraduate students, you are probably familiar with Dr. Summers, and you will have to interact with him if you are going to be in the fast track program. University administration, we have our president, Dr. Richard Benson. Dr. Inga Musselman is our provost. Dr. Juan Gonzalez, which we just heard about, is the Dean of Graduate Studies. Also, we have Josephine Vita, which is the Director of International Student Services. Okay, so let's just start with our mission. This is our general mission. Usually these mission statements are quite boring, but in our case, we actually mean this. This is what our mission has been. As I mentioned, I came here very long ago, in 1987, and this has been the focus of our program. We have grown tremendously, and we have always been concerned about providing excellent education and be relevant, be modern. And as you will see through this presentation, you see that our education is modern and is very much in tune with the industry and with academia that is around us. So we believe our graduates will be very uniquely qualified to have a successful career in various areas of electrical engineering. I have listed some areas here, but actually is beyond that. We have signal processing, communication, circuits, digital systems, devices, speech image processing, control systems, and power electronics, as far as high power motors and drives, and biomedical application. We are a very cross-disciplinary program. We deal with other departments quite a bit, so you will have access to a great education once you're here, and it is self-delivered. So let's talk about areas of the studies. We have 5 areas in electrical engineering, and at this moment, I would like to invite Professor Randy Lehman, who is one of the advisors, actually, to present the EE areas to us. Randy? I'm not sure. Randy perhaps may have left and the.
All right, how about this?
Oh, okay, you're here.
Okay, I've got it now. Okay, thank you, Cameron. As we'll start again. I am Randy Lehman, and I am one of the advisors along with Dr. Matthew Hines. We are going to be serving those of you with an MSEE degree in the various areas that Cameron has just mentioned here: circuits, computing systems, devices, power electronics, energy systems, and signals and systems. And so we look forward to working with you to get registered, help you with course selection in your degree plan. So first of all, let's do a quick overview of each of these 5 concentrations. The circuits concentration deals with many types of electronic circuits, devices, circuit systems, and primarily we ask you to take 3 core courses. You see those listed there: VLSI design, analog integrated circuit design, and RF and microwave circuits. And so we want you to get some foundational understanding of each of those. And then after that, you may take elective courses in all of them, or one of them, or 2 of them, or wherever you'd like to take your elective courses. But we would like to get you at least the basics so that you can feel prepared to select other elective courses later. We have, in addition to all of the excellent courses we've got, we have research opportunities. If you'd like to do that, again, you can do a thesis or a non-thesis. Most of you will be coming in as a non-thesis student, and so you'll be taking courses to get your 30 credit hours for your master's degree. If you elect to do research, I believe Dr. Cameron will talk about those later, how to go into the research area, but we have a number of just excellent areas of research and many job opportunities, internships, and full-time jobs after you're done with your MSEE. And you see some of the logos of those companies that many of our students have gone to in the past. And so we encourage you to consider this concentration. So next, I'd like to talk about devices. There's such a need for new semiconductor devices, technologies, and this includes optical type devices, MEMS, and we'll talk about that in a minute, and both device IC manufacturing and packaging. In this particular concentration, we also ask you to take 3 core courses. You can see those listed: fields and waves, quantum physical electronics, and semiconductor processing technology. And you can see some of the photographs of we have just excellent fabrication facilities on campus, and we'll prepare you well for any type of internship or career that you would like to pursue in the device area. Okay, next slide, please. Here are some of the more specific areas within the device concentration. There we go, thank you. Carbon nanotubes, MEMS, sensors, biomedical devices, plasma science, semiconductor modeling, quantum effects, and some of the companies that, again, our students have gone to work for. And even in the US, we've had a number of government grant opportunities become available that has made this area even more attractive to try to get new students involved and partner with industry around the nation, around the world. Power electronics and energy systems. Again, 3 core courses: power electronics, general theory of electric machines, control modeling and simulation of power electronics. So this is an area that has been increasing in popularity on campus. We're hiring professors to teach new courses. You can see some of the areas down in the lower left-hand corner where the specific interests are in terms of this power electronics area. And next slide will show some of the more specific things that the research areas are considering. So transportation, distributed power generation, including solar, wind energy, energy storage, as well as just general power electronics. So motors and drives, how do we make more efficient machines, and again, EV, electric vehicles, etc. So lots of really interesting research going on in this area. Signals and systems. Again, 3 core courses required for signals and systems. However, this is a little bit different. We require each of you in this area to take the probability, random variables, and statistics course, EESC 6349, and then you need to take 2 of the 3 courses listed below: linear systems, digital communication systems, or digital signal processing. You're welcome to take all 4 of these, but only 3 are required as part of your core courses, and then you can take 1 as an elective if you so choose. Again, a number of different areas that we're offering in terms of both classes as well as research, and on the next slide we see some more of those in detail. 2 main areas in this concentration: one, communications, which includes wireless communication, networks, and information theory, and then signal processing, which is speech processing, image processing, and machine learning. And the next slide shows even more detail on the labs that support that. There's a clickable link at the top there that talks about the research center and labs, so you can click on that to get more detail on each of these. But notice there's speech processing, speech systems, embedded machine learning becoming very popular, signal processing, optical communications, as well as wireless networks at the bottom. So a host of different areas that you might find interesting. And again, we look forward to working with you and helping you to try to navigate everything. So feel free to reach out to Dr. Hines or myself anytime you want to ask questions about that. The last concentration is computing systems. 3 different courses are required: advanced digital logic, computer architecture, and microprocessor systems. Again, a very popular concentration at UTD. And you can see in the lower left-hand corner, again, many of the specific areas that students focus on, and they will get jobs in those areas. So again, I look forward to working with you, and I will turn that back to Professor Cameron for the computer engineering.
Thank you very much, Randy. As was mentioned, you may have been admitted to either electrical engineering or computer engineering. These are 2 different areas. So for computer engineering, we have, I believe, either Diana Kogan or Marco Taka. These are the 2, and also Professor Bill Schwartz, who are the advisors for this field. And I think, I'm not sure who is here make a presentation. I think it's Diana.
I'm here.
Okay, go ahead, Diana.
Hi, so I want to welcome you all to UTD in advance. I know a lot of y'all aren't here yet, but yes, again, Marco Taka and Bill Schwartz and I are the advisors for computer engineering. So just want to take a minute and see what your options are. So you can see on this slide a copy of the degree plan that you'll be working under, and you can see there are 3 core courses that you need to take. Then there are 5 courses that you get to select. As many as 3 of them can be computer science courses, but no more than 3. And then in the ECS elective courses there at the bottom, you can take additional CS courses if you wish. Okay. Now, if we go to the next slide, if you've selected applied machine learning track, you need to take at least 3 of the courses listed here. And if you've selected the embedded and VLSI systems track, you need to take at least 3 of the courses listed at the bottom of this slide. If you select the none option, then you have more flexibility. Still, in total, you can take 5 computer science courses, and your other courses need to be CE or EESC type courses. Oh, excuse me, my battery's about to die. I forgot to plug in my laptop. So just a couple of other items. Be sure and watch Coursebook. Take your core courses as soon as you can. I encourage you to take them in your first or second semester because they're not taught every semester, and you don't want to get to your graduating semester and find that you're missing one, okay? If you have either a CE or EE background, those 3,000 and 4,000 level courses that are shown as prereqs are subjects you should have had in your undergrad. Okay. You have been instructed to meet with your advisor. So if you can consider this your meeting, okay? If you don't have questions about the courses, you can go ahead and fill out a registration form and email it to me, or whichever of your advisors you belong to. And then if you do have questions about the courses, then of course email us, and we'll be more than happy to talk to you about that. Your first semester degree plan is what you need to have filled out before time to register for your second semester, so that you can register yourself instead of going through your advisor. So go ahead and do that as soon as you can. Your final degree plan is one that you're going to fill out in your last semester, and as you're applying for graduation. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Diana. Marco, if you're here, just go ahead and talk about TE.
All right, so welcome everybody. So my name is Marco Tac. I'm one of the advisors for TE and CE. So telecommunication engineering is yet another program that is available. You might, some of you might be part of this program. And as Dr. Chiasale was mentioned earlier, they are all different. So if you are in telecommunication engineering, you cannot automatically shift to any other program. And the particular thing about telecommunication engineering, similar to computer engineering, is that it is a little bit more across the computer science and electrical engineering. So as you see from the courses listed there, you have 5 core courses that you must take. And as you see, those courses are a mix of computer courses that are labeled computer science and courses that are labeled electrical engineering. On top of that, you will need to take a few electives. And the idea about telecommunication engineering is, again, the fact that in the telecommunication world, there is a significant need for skills that span across disciplines. So that's the reasoning behind creating a curriculum that covers, is a little bit across the traditional boundaries of computer science and electrical engineering. And there is plenty of opportunity in that field. It's a continuous advancement. Everybody wants more and more bandwidth every day. So not to mention all the various cloud services. So very exciting program, lot of opportunities, both in the corporate and academic world. Once you are done with your studies. So again, very glad you're here. And as Dr. Kogan mentioned, as soon as you're ready to register, feel free to get in touch with me. We can set up appointments and go on with set you up with everything else. I think that's all that we want to touch. Cameron, back to you.
Thank you, Marco. So as Professor Kogan and Professor Taka mentioned about the process, I'm going to go over that again for us to fully understand how we are going to move forward. About the master's program, we have EE, CE, and TE. You could be you have to look at your admission, what it is for, and these are some guidelines for us to remember. For the non-thesis option, which most of you are, for the CE concentration, you have 2 concentration, as was pointed out. A minimum of 30 semester credit hours is required, 12 cores and 12 core semester credit hours, and 12 for the breadth electives, as we talked about. For the EE are 5 concentrations, as was pointed out, and you need, again, minimum of 30 semester credit hours. And again, remember, 30 credit hours is 10 classes. and you can actually see what the advising list is and what courses you have to take. And that was in the previous slides. For TE, the same scenario, but we have 15 core semester credit hours, your 5 classes, as opposed to 3 in the E area and 4 in the CE area. And then we may have students who are in the thesis option. There are various reasons that one person want to do thesis. If you're interested in research, you have a professor who's willing to fund you. You may choose the thesis option, and you will have to have a graduate advisor. And this is different than the advisors that advise you for your studies. This is advisor that advises your research. In this case, it would be an individual that is directing your research activities. It requires 12 semester credit hours for EE, or 6 for C, and 9 for T of research. So, and 3 hours of that is going to be writing a thesis. And you do have to write a thesis. We can't get around not writing a thesis. And also, we have a link here for the pathways to research scholarships, which is very useful to look at. So once we send you this presentation, you can actually look at this link and learn more about this pathway, which is very important. And very often, the people who choose master thesis, they end up following that with the PhD. This does not mean that if you are a non-thesis option, you cannot follow that with a PhD degree, and a lot of students do. So we have all combination of categories here. So I want you to, first of all, focus on this graduate catalog. I want you to look at this, you look at your degree requirements, and you have to stay on top of that. And you have to maintain a GPA of 3.0. If your GPA is not at 3.0, you won't graduate. So this is a proactive measure, meaning that if you end up having a GPA less than 3.0 for a semester, you go on academic probation. And that should not be followed by the following semester with a GPA less than 3.0, which may result you being expelled. So you have to assume the responsibility of keeping on top of your record. No one is going to chase you around and ask you if you're studying. So basically, you have to make sure that you are reaching that goal. Now, some of you may have had some graduate classes before. Majority of you are not. So there is a big difference between graduate and undergraduate classes. Generally speaking, they take more time, require more of your time to study and master the subject. So I would love to talk to you, not maybe today, but other times, about how to make sure that you succeed. The other issue is that issue of not being able to repeat a course more than once. Some students like to take a course many times until they achieve a given GPA. But and again, you use a limitation of how many courses, how many times you can take a course, and how many courses can be repeated. And for most students, this is a very costly proposition, and that will not happen. So please bear in mind that these courses have to be taken, and you have to be successful at it. Now, the ACE graduate program will conduct the audits of your degree plan that I'm going to get to in a minute. The degree plan is what you agree on when you arrive here. You meet with your advisor, graduate advisor, and you are coming up with a degree plan. And we are going to keep track of that. We know that each area has a core classes and elective, as we talked about. We encourage you to take your core classes within the very first 2 long semesters that we have here. And this is critical, because if you allow this to lapse, and then you're here for 3 semesters, typically, maybe sometimes 4. For these 3 semesters for master's students, if you find yourself in the last semester and you haven't taken a core class, and then the core class is not being offered, and that may very well happen, you will be in a very tough spot. We are not going to offer a core class just for one person. So please make sure that you take these classes as soon as you can. But now, since there are most core areas or about 3 classes, 3 to maybe in one case is 5 in TE. So with the first 2 semesters, you should be able to handle all of your core classes. It's important to choose your classes. Again, we have degrees that have concentration areas, but they have a great deal of flexibility. You have to assume part of a responsibility of looking into what it is that you want to do. I know that many of you are very good in social media. You're dealing with other students in other schools, and you educate yourself in various ways. But please be careful about how you're choosing your classes. And this should maximize learning, but at the end of the day, is going to have to make you marketable. I'm sure that you're getting a master's degree not for just putting it on a shelf and then doing something else with your life. You want to be able to be employable, find a career in this area. So be mindful of what your potential employers are going to look at, and they look at your master's degree. They want to know what you know, and this becomes an issue. Sometimes you're in a given concentration, but you're not taking the important classes that you need to take. There's official rules of university, UTD PP 1052. I strongly urge you to read it. I know this document sometimes can be boring, but this is the way we are expecting you to conduct yourself, and very often this can cause a problem if you're not aware of it. Now, we talked about these degree plans. I'm again reintroducing that. This is the form that you have to fill out with your MS advisor. And I want to make sure that we understand there is what is called academic advisor for master's student, and there are advisors. And these are the folks that are going to help you with registering classes, dealing with your degree plan. But they are not academic advisors. The academic advisor has to sign this, you have to sign this, and you have to file it with us. Now, I want to talk about a little bit about changes that you can make to this, but let me just introduce all these degree plans that we have. And it is very important that you fill this out. And we will come back to this a bit later about how to maintain that. So before I do that, let me talk about PhD students. PhD students must find an advisor as soon as possible, no later than the first semester here. I want to point out a very important issue, and that is PhD admission. All of you that have a PhD admission is a probationary admission, is a conditional admission. What that means is that you are admitted until you have passed your qualifying exam. And that has to be done within 3 semesters here. The question is, what if I don't pass my qualifier? You will have to leave the university. I mean, the program at least. You can go to other programs, but you cannot stay here. So from that perspective, that should be your focus, that I need to get through that. And one condition for passing that qualifying exam is that to have a research advisor that is going to advise you on your qualifying exam. So our degree is very much research oriented. We are a serious graduate program. We care and we foster research here. So you can't undermine that, and you cannot just assume this is another degree where we take classes and you can graduate. It doesn't work like that. We have research as an incredibly important part of this process. Now, many students already have a research advisor selected. So if you're a PhD student that has been admitted and don't have an advisor, I would highly recommend that you start communicating with the faculty in the research area that you're interested in. Let's say you're interested in devices. Look up the list of devices or communication faculty and communicate with them. Send them email and ask them about the research. Ask them if they have a position in their lab for you. Now, not all positions have to be a paid position. If some professors may not have research funding, you can ask them if they're willing to supervise you. This is a very integral, a very important part of your education. So you need to take care of that even before you arrive. But the first semester, by end of the first semester, you must have an advisor. Typically, you complete a minimum of 75 semester credit hours beyond the bachelor's degree, 30 graduate level courses credit hours. If admitted with a master's from the PhD program, has to be taken here. But if you are a new PhD student with a master's degree, you need 45 semester credit hours. Now, you might think that 45 semester credit hours has to be coursework. It's not. This is going to be mostly research hours. And then you can have a 3 semester dissertation credit hours. And the combination of the research hours and then coursework should reach that 75 semester credit hours. Now, this gives you an idea of how many semesters you can spend here to get a PhD. Typically, students take 9 hours. 9 hours is a full load, as we mentioned, for the PhD students. So this will give you a clear idea of what is happening. Now, as some of you may know, we have a direct admission to PhD, meaning that you come in with a BS degree. You still have to take 30 credit hours of coursework, but you will be a PhD student. This is really encouraged for students who have an advisor who is willing to support them, and they can hit the ground running and doing research. Now, please bear in mind that when you're coming in with a BS degree, not an MS degree, there are some slight differences, and I'm going to get to that in this bottom of this slide. Now, as far as qualifying exam is concerned, we talked about the importance of this. This is a 2-phase process. The first phase is that you have to take 2 classes with a grade of B+, and these 2 classes have to be approved by your advisor. So here again, the importance of advisor comes in. And once you have passed these 2 classes, you have to do some research capability. And this involves reading some research papers and making a public presentation. This presentation would be advertised by our department, and people can attend that presentation. And I'm talking about anybody can attend it in the UTD from all departments. And you have to be able to demonstrate that you have a mastery of the subject that you're presenting. And this seems easy, but when you get in front of people trying to explain very complex concepts, it can be rather daunting. And we like you to do this in the second semester you're here. So the first semester you take your classes, second semester you do a presentation, and you have 2 attempts. So if you fail in the second semester, you can complete in the third semester. One of the mistakes that happens, and I want to warn you ahead of time, students wait until the third semester to take their second phase, and some fail. In this case, what would one do? In this case, you may have to leave the university. So the second option or second attempt is really within that 3 years. So please pay attention to that. Now, if you come in with a BS degree, no master's degree, you get 4 semesters. But the same rules apply. You need to get on this very early on and make sure that you take care of a qualifying exam first. Please bear that in mind. Now, you do need to register for research hours, and here's a guideline. And then you have to sign up for research and dissertation hours. And these are all done by you sign up with your research advisor. And the course that you're taking is 8V70. You do have to have a dissertation committee, and then you have to pass what is called a doctoral proposal examination. Once you have passed your qualifier, you become an official PhD student here, and you can start doing research. At some point in that research phase of your studies, you need to present this before a committee. And this typically is the same committee as your dissertation defense committee. And in that case, you're going to present your ideas to the committee, and obviously you get guidance from your research advisor. You're going to get guidance from the committee. And then you take that back and you complete your dissertation, which has to be original research. And you present that I guess in this department to the committee, and obviously there's an open section to it, and then there's a examination section. So this is essentially the pathway for your PhD. And as you can tell, we focus a lot on research because you may get the impression that only courses you need to take is 2 classes. That is true. That is actually what we have said here, but you are encouraged to take other classes. You're getting a PhD degree, and obviously your research may be very focused, but it may have various areas that is not covered in your previous classes you have taken. I highly recommend that you try to sign up for some classes with, of course, with the approval of your research advisor. Okay, let's talk about registration a little bit. First of all, as you accept the admission to the to UTD, you have to go to acknowledgement of policies form, and then remember, until you have acknowledged this, the holds will not be removed from your record. So we need you to do that as soon as possible. And then for the registration process, you have to find courses you want online in the course book. There's a link here. And then we will provide a list of courses for you. And then you have to have a registration form. Again, that's add and drop form that you're going to fill out. I'm going to talk about this and show you the form, which you can register using that form only. You cannot just log in and register yourself. Now, you have to make an appointment with your faculty advisor and get advice and register. Now, if you are somehow are able to register before coming here, the same process applies to you. So you need to have a Teams meeting with your faculty advisor and non-thesis option. And if you have a PhD student, then in that case, you deal with your advisor, your thesis advisor that you have already selected. If you do not have an advisor and you're a PhD student, I'll be glad to help you with as a temporary advisor to get you signed up for your classes. Now, Professor Kogan kind of mentioned this. So registration form and first semester degree plan will be reviewed by the advisor and the signed form, and it will be sent to the graduate. You have to send it to the graduate office. You receive an acknowledgement and about your registration, and you cannot register on your own. So the very first semester you're here, you fill out the degree plan as well as your registration form. You submit it to us, and you get registered for the class. Now, the advisors that help you, here are their pictures and their names and email addresses, I guess. We have Professor Randy Lehman and Matthew Hines deal with the EE. So, and look at this is based on your last name. So find out who is going to be your advisor. And this is the person you should be in touch with that's going to help you with registration. We have Dr. Diana Kogan, William Schwartz, and Marco Taka, which they do CE. And I guess Marco Taka does also T as well. So this is a very important page. Please keep this in mind. And these are the advisors that are going to help you. Now, I mentioned something about academic advising and also the other type of advising. This is e-grad program staff in my office. We have Ms. Patricia Williams, who is for application and admission. Obviously, you are admitted, so you may not have to interact with it as much. We have 2 other individuals, Joshua Sparza and Kimberly High. These are the folks that are going to register you for classes sometimes, in this case, and they look at your degree plan, and they will be in touch with you if there are any issues. So, and they're assigned as advisors, but I don't want you to confuse this with academic advisors. They will not sign your degree plan or your registration forms. So please understand that they do not go to them for that purpose, but you need to get to know them because these are the people who interact with you throughout your education here, especially master's students. I want to talk about the registration form we talked about. This is the registration form that you need to fill out. You can see you have a 5-digit class number that you wanted to take, either whenever you want to drop a class, either register or drop, you have to indicate that you have this prefix for the class and the class number, and the sections you have to fill out everything. In the bottom of the form, you can see that you have to sign it, and then below it is advisor signature. So you fill this out with your advisor. And again, this is not Kimberly, this is not Joshua. the advisors or the advisors, academic advisors we introduced at the beginning. So please pay attention to that. Here's a list of classes we are offering. I just want to point out that we have a broad range of classes we're offering in all areas. We try to offer most of the core classes that we have, but sometimes they're in sequence. We offer a core class in fall and then the subsequent class in the spring. Now, those of you who are coming in the spring, you may be coming out of phase with this, with the sequence of classes we are offering, but nonetheless, you should be able to take some of your core classes. Now, it's very important to consult this because last-minute registration can be a problem, right? So make sure that you spend a good amount of time looking at the classes that are offered. For the registration, after you attend this orientation that you guys have done, fill out the acknowledgement policies form, and this it removes some of the holds you have. Now, holds are problems because they will not stop you from registering. Of course, you have admission hold, and you have a TB test hold that is, we do not handle that. This is done by the student health. You have ISSO holds that you need to deal with them separately. I do not deal with it. My office doesn't deal with it. As you heard Jennifer Garcia explain, you actually have to deal with them to have the ISSO removed. They may have other holds, but most of the academic holds, Joshua and Kimberly can remove it for you. But if there are holds, financial holds, we can't do that unless you actually remove them yourself. And obviously, if you have any student holds, you have an email place to email. This is the ECE grad program office you can email. So the document that you have to provide, we have to get your transcript. We do not accept, I guess, the official transcript sent by you. It has to be sent either by third party, or you can have a sealed, with a university sealed envelope that is sent from your institution. You do need to get your final approved and official transcript before you start. So we may have given you admission based on unofficial transcript, but official transcripts have to be provided. And I talked about the handling holds. Again, exceptions can be made if there are legitimate reasons. Contact admission or ECE grad program about any questions you might have about uploading the required information. Okay, so here's academic calendar, and I always say this is our contract with you. Please follow this schedule. This schedule tells you when the classes start, when the classes end, when is the final exam, the period is that, and also when we give midterm grades. Some of the holidays are also mentioned here. So consult this one. You can look it up online, and you have to be very careful about the schedule because I've seen people try to have us give a final exam to them in another time slot. We cannot do that. We have to obey this schedule. Final exams are usually scheduled by the school, by the university, not by the school. So I cannot change that. For the class that you're taking, given the time that is offered, there will be a final exam schedule by the university, and we have to obey that. So it's good to always look at this schedule. Sort of a degree plan, registration and subsequent semesters. Here's a very important point, because you have, you find a degree plan for your concentration. You need to submit the first semester degree plan by the end of the first semester, completed again with a faculty advisor. If you're making changes to degree plan, you do not need to submit a revision. But this is an important point. You need to submit your final degree plan the end of the one semester prior to your graduation. Let me emphasize this point. Let's say you have taken the core classes and you're switching around your electives. Now, you can do this. You don't have to submit a new degree plan. but you forget to submit the final degree plan in the semester you're graduating. And again, you're submitting it maybe a week before graduation. And you say, well, can I go graduate? And the answer would be no. And this is really a problem because you do not have any other classes to take the following semester. So it's going to delay your graduation. Many international students can get into all kinds of trouble. So please submit your final degree plan to us before end of the semester following before your graduation. So for instance, if you're planning to graduate in the spring, at the end of the spring semester, at the end of the fall semester, before school closes, do not submit it on December 25th on the Christmas day when the school is closed. Submit it before the school closes in December, your final degree plan for us to approve. This is critical for graduation. PhD students have a different set of guidelines. You have what's called milestones agreement. This is an agreement that you have to fill out that shows your progress. Your advisor has to fill this out for you. There's a section you fill out, there's a section he fills out or she fills out. And basically, your advisor is telling us if you're doing well, if you are on track. If you are not on track, this is the case that can actually triggers some other action on our part. If you're a PhD student who's not progressing on research, you're not reaching milestones, that could be a problem here. And this is the third Tuesday of March for spring admitted students, and also for summer and fall admitted is the third Tuesday of October. So for you guys, for those of you who are coming in the spring, third Tuesday of March is when you actually submit this. For PhD students, they can register for themselves, but if you're taking research hours, you may have to have the signature of your research advisor on your registration form, and stay on top of your degree plan. And this is what I really recommend. We have many students and we try to look at everything, but we are not tracking your behavior in taking classes, in completing the requirements every semester. You need to be on top of it. And the best thing to do is ask questions. I get hundreds of emails in a week. Some days I get 100 emails a day. I respond to all of the emails. So if you're in doubt about something that you're not sure of, send the email to me or the EE grad program email them as well to see where you are. It is always better to find out ahead of time something you need to do than try to do it last minute. And again, this for some students, this is critical. If you're a graduate student, international student, you may have some restrictions. Okay. Other important, fast track. Finally, we're getting to the fast track. I'm sorry I get quite a bit at the end. We have a program called Fast Track. This allows undergraduate students to take graduate classes, and in a sense, a double dipping scenario, meaning that they were using graduate classes to satisfy their undergraduate requirements, and at the same time working toward their master's. At the end of the day, if you do it right, you can get a BS and master's in 5 years, instead of it would be BS in 4 years and master's in about 2 years and 6 years. So allows you to graduate faster and in a sense take graduate classes while you're undergraduate. This is not for everyone. I mean, I hate to admit it, but it's for academically excellent folks who have a good GPA, and it says here 3.3, but we require even higher than that. You have to have 90 semester credit hour under your belt. So let's say I have 75 credit hours now, and I need 15 more hours to get to 90. Can I apply for the fast track? And the answer is really no. You have to have a 90 credit hour under your belt, and this is technically for senior students. So make sure you have a 90 credit hours and have a GPA of 3.3. Once you're in the program, you have to maintain a GPA of 3.0. that means no B minuses. This is important because B minus is a passing grade for graduate students. But for this program, we require you to get a not a B minus, get a 3.0. And the reason is that we do not get you to a situation that you end up not being able to complete your BS degree because you're getting poor grades in your graduate classes. Now, graduate classes as a whole are more difficult than undergraduate classes, take more time, about 50% more time. And to put things in perspective, 15 hours, or typically 15 hours, is what the undergraduate student takes. As an, I guess most universities could be even 18, but it's 15 hours, and that's a full load. For graduate classes, 9 credit hours, 3 classes is full load. So if you're planning to take 2 graduate classes and 3 undergraduate classes, this is a very, very heavy load. So we expect the students in this program to be the type that are up to the challenge, I should say. I have a link here for fast track application. I need to emphasize, I have seen people go all over the place and find links that are dated and are not the right link. So once you guys get this presentation, please make sure that you go to the correct link for the fast track, and this guides you how to apply. Again, in this program, you can take up to 5 graduate classes. Not necessarily you have to take 5, up to 5 graduate classes. Now, if you think about this, graduate program is about 10 classes or 30 hours. So you can actually take half of your graduate classes in the fast track program. Okay, so one thing I want to emphasize about fast track is that I am handling that program, so you have to send everything to me, and I have to work with me as your advisor. And our 2-phase process, I want to emphasize that we do have, I guess some people just misunderstand about this. They apply and then they assume that they can take any classes they want. The process is as follows. First, you apply, and I guess the deadline is somewhere is listed on in the website. When you apply, when is the deadline for admission for applications? I guess a little bit after that, maybe end of November, toward end of November, I will inform you if you have been admitted. Once you're admitted, you have to do one thing first. You have to fill out the petition form for undergraduates and take graduate classes. This petition form is the form that you fill out, that you have to put your GPA and the courses you want to take. And also, you will sit down with me and you actually do a degree plan for MSEE program you're doing. And they have to be consistent. The courses that you're planning to take should be consistent with the courses that you are listed in your degree plan. I highly, highly recommend that you only take core classes for the degree you're getting into. So there are 2 things you need to do ahead of time. You need to think about what degree plan you want to get into. Are you trying to get into, let's say, EE devices area, or circuits area, or signal processing area? And take a look at those courses and try to schedule the core classes as soon as possible. Again, you want to put yourself in a good position to graduate, not in an awkward position. And as you're choosing those classes, also you can take a look what prerequisites they have. I'm going to talk about the prerequisite a little bit later, but if you end up going to the graduate classes and finding out that you did not take the undergraduate classes that you need, you're going to be in trouble in a sense. You have to take those classes. So it is important that you look at those classes you're putting on your degree plan and see what prerequisites they have. These courses are listed online. You can actually take a look what prerequisites are, and that way you have a very solid plan. And then you send that information to me, and then I will take that petition. I have to sign it, and then we'll send it to Dr. Summers to be signed, and then that will complete the process. And registration for graduate courses are done by us. You cannot register on you. For your undergraduate part of your classes, you can do it on your own or with the help of your undergraduate advisor. All right, so the fast track petition, that the petition forms is in this link here, and the guideline on how to fill it is also given here. So you can actually take a look at and see what it requires to fill out that form. But again, that form is important to be filled after you have consulted with me and you have had your degree plan, graduate degree plan signed by me. Then you can actually see what courses you need to take, and then you petition for it. You have to do this petition every semester. And that's one of the things that people misunderstand. Because they say, I'm admitted to the fast track, I don't need to submit a petition again. Well, the reason that we have this petition, because you have to report to us what GPA you have. We want to make sure that you are doing well in the program. If your GPA is dropped below a certain point, as we said, 3.0, we are going to ask you not to continue in the fast track program. Lastly, the graduate program is more work than undergraduate classes, about 50%. Of course, percentages don't work very well because it is possible to spend more time and still do not achieve the desired result. There are more complicated concepts that require mastery of the subject. That's why you call it a master's degree. So there are some differences. I don't want to discourage anyone, but I want you to prepare for it and plan for it accordingly. There's a student, international student orientation. Is hosted in this link. It's mandatory that you, before your arrival, actually go through this this orientation. We have a couple of links for you. They're very useful about international students. It's guide, checklist, and lots of very useful information in these links that you can use before you arrive. There is a lot of organizations here in UTD in support of your presence here. We have Indian Student Association, Friendship Association of Chinese Students. We have Pakistani Student Association, Bangladesh Student Organization, Korean Student Association, as well as Iranian student community. And there are a lot more. So as you can tell, we are a very multicultural campus. We welcome and try to foster relationships between various cultures here, and you'll be taking classes, doing research, and doing work alongside people from all over the world. And we are proud of that, and we are, even though we are located in Texas, we are actually an international university in a sense, because we have such a large population of international students. Let me talk about TA, RAs, and scholarship. We get a lot of questions about this. The TA and RA, which are supported positions, are offered by the department and the faculty. RA positions are exclusively offered by the research advisors, by professors. Please do not email me about your research assistantship, because I do not assign that. So you have to communicate with the professors who do research in various areas of your interest and see if they're willing to support you, if they have funding to support you. It is a very expensive proposition to support the PhD student, and occasionally master's students are also supported, but the research is quite costly. For the teaching assistantship, is based on our needs, classes that we have, but this is also as a faculty supported scenario, meaning that you can't just apply to the department for TA, and there is a link to apply for a TA application, and you'll be assigned to a class. Typically, each professor has to recommend you for a teaching assistantship before you can get it. So as you contact the various faculty, ask them if they have a TA position or RA position available. Again, the faculty does not hire teaching assistants, but they can recommend you. And without that recommendation, you won't be able to get support. And then if you are a supported student, you have to sign up for 9 semester credit hours. And for summers, you have to sign up for 6 semester credit hours. So you cannot just on the summers do research without signing up for any semester credit hours. And again, any information that you need, all the documents have to send to e-employment. We do have fellowships. Most deadline is January each year. And also we have scholarships. These links tell you how to apply for those scholarships. I want you to basically understand that this is done for the fall semester, and the deadline is May 12 of 2024. So it doesn't apply for the spring. It applies for fall. And then once you apply, this Johnson scholarship is not a significant scholarship. It's about $1,000, but it will make your tuition in-state, which is a big issue for some people. We also have the Pathway to Research Scholarship. This is also a nice link to go to and take a look at what we offer. Here's something about prerequisites. Now, remember I was mentioning that you have taken a graduate class only to find out you do not have the prerequisite. When you got admitted as a master's student, very often in the graduate committee looks at your degree and says, well, this person missing some key courses, leveling courses, and they may require you to take the leveling classes, maybe up to 5 leveling classes. Now, these are undergraduate classes, and for some of you who are on F1 visa, that would be an issue to take 3 or 4 or 5 undergraduate classes. But sometimes this happens, and we allow students to take maybe 3 classes, maybe 2 classes, and then take graduate classes the rest of the for the semester. Now, if you recognize that you have a prerequisite, but you basically say, I had this prerequisite in another course back in my country, or back in where I was actually taking my undergraduate classes, there is a form for you to fill out. And then it has to be done within the last 4 semesters before you get your Bachelor of Science. You have to submit transcript, syllabus of the equivalent course to the instructor, not to me, but to the instructor. So for instance, somebody is teaching 6349. This is the probability statistic and random variable, and it requires that you have some undergraduate level exposure to probability. So you will contact the instructor and provide this request waiver form, which requires the name and the number and the syllabus information about the course you took, and the signature of the instructor for the class. So the instructor for 6349 has to sign this, and then you send this form to e-grad program for processing. And then please do this early, because sometimes you recognize this could be a elective course, and you submit this, then the instructor says, I won't sign this. What you had as an undergraduate doesn't really satisfy the prerequisite. Now you have a choice here. You realize you cannot take the course, and you don't want to go take an undergraduate class to prepare for it. And this course is not critical to you. So you may want to say, I'm going to take another elective. So that's why it's good to do this ahead of time. Transfer of credit. This becomes another issue with the students who have taken some master's classes. Only 25% of graduate coursework of your degree plan can be transferred from another graduate school, which is about 7.5 semester credit hours. Kind of a strange, it's not exactly 7, so you should be about 8 or maybe 9. So that's for the master's student. So let's say you have done a master's degree somewhere else, you want to transfer some of the hours. So you can transfer probably 2 classes, and that's about it. For PhD students, when you are admitted, your master's program credit already is transferred, is maximum of 36 hours. But if you are a non-degree student, you're not seeking a degree, you cannot take more than 5 classes as a non-degree student. So that's the restriction that we have. So all the paperwork that has to be completed in this for the transfer has to be done at the end of the first semester you're at UTD. In this case, the transfer of credit request form is here. You can actually fill it out and sign it and send it to us. Okay. Here's an important point. Very often, the students ask us, "Well, I don't want to be a CE student. I want to be an EE student." Or I'm going to EE student. I'm going to be a CE student. Is that a simple change? The ECE department has, again, 3 graduate programs. Switching between program is not allowed. Reapplication is needed. So you have to actually reapply. Change of concentration from one to another within the same semester is allowed. You have to meet with the advisor and actually do this. And also we get often from students questions like, I'm a CE student, I want to become a CS student. What do I have to do? We are not CS department. We don't deal with CS department. That's an entirely different department. So you have to actually reapply to CS. We are not going to be able to just simply transfer you to another program or another school. Now, there are a couple of issues that has come up in the past. I want to talk about that. You have admitted a student into the PhD without master's, but wants to finish your PhD and get a master's. There's a form for you to fill out. These forms have to be filled out in both cases. You can actually add a master's degree to your PhD program. And the reason that you want to do this, sometimes the students want to have at the end of their degree that it shows that they got a master's degree as well. But remember, if you came in as a PhD student without a master's, you're taking 30 course hours, and then you do research and you graduate. So your degree is going to show that you got a PhD in E or C. It doesn't show that you have gotten a master's degree. So, but some people like to have that. So you have to fill out this form for this to be added to your degree. Okay. All right. Internship. This is a big issue for many people. We have a Johnstone Career Center that does career development. We are very proud of this department. Our internship program is very, very strong. We allow our students to do internship. In fact, we have 2 methods. Is a curricular practical training, which means you actually work in industry while you're a student, and then optional OPT, practical training, that is after your graduation. For CPT, we are making some minor changes. Stay tuned about that. We will inform everyone of the changes, but it would be mandatory to do a CPT, some form of curricular practical training. This could be in the form of working in industry, and but for those students who are not interested doing CPT, they can do a research hour with some faculty here on campus, which is something different than your coursework, so that we demonstrate that you are getting practical training that you do need. So this is something that is evolving, but stay assured that this is going to be a very important part of our degree. Here's some statistic about our degree. We have 975 students in BS, 280 masters, and 220 PhD. And we have 39 faculty, which is 13 of them are IEEE fellows. But internship numbers, this is for 2022, 2023. We have 150 students who got internship. Now, again, remember, this is just for 1 year. There are students in the previous years that are continuing with internship. So we have a significant number of students doing internship. As far as our ranking is concerned, we are 52nd in the CE program, nationally 32nd in the public universities, and 3rd in the Texas public universities. EE program is 54th nationally, 29th in the public universities, and 3rd in Texas public university. So we are in top 50 of all public universities in the country. So pretty good stat for a school that is fairly young. You have to understand, when I came here in 1987, the school was only 1 year old. So we are infant as compared to more established universities have been around 200 years or longer. But in that short period of time, we have made significant growth. We have had significant improvement. So our students find jobs in variety of industries. We have 130 for the past 7 years, companies have hired our graduates. You can see that these are major institutions: Qualcomm, Intel, Qorvo, AMD, Micron, NVIDIA, Xilinx, Cisco. Texas Instrument is one of the biggest employer here. I have almost 3 of my PhD students are at Qualcomm now. So we are not necessarily graduating people who find jobs locally, but they find jobs everywhere in the country. As far as the American Society of Engineering Education report concerns, we are number of 9th in the number of MSCE graduate, and in CE we are 32nd. The CE program is a bit newer. As far as PhD, we are 5th in the country in awarding PhD in EE and 29th in CE. So being 5th in the number of PhDs that are granted in the country is a really, really impressive statistic, comparing that there are major institutions around the country. I'm sure you can count 5 very quickly, the institutions that you have heard of. As far as immigration custom and enforcement is concerned, we have in 2022, you can see the number of students participate in OPT. So our students are very successful even before graduation. They go into internship, and very often, almost, I don't have the exact numbers, but 99% of the time, internship leads to a permanent employment. Obviously, the optional practical training also leads to employment, but we do have students who are employed before they graduate. So this is very impressive. One part of your existence here at UTD is your information resources. We are communicating online. We are dealing with your sometimes courses online. So please make sure you get your account set up through Office of Information Technology. You have to have a net ID and a user ID. And this is very important that all official communication is through UTD email. Let me bring this up because we had an issue in the past about this. And this is actually an actual story. We had a student that applied for scholarship. We offered him the scholarship using UTD email. And this student was not checking his UTD email, was only looking his private email. And it ended up not getting the scholarship because the deadline passed for him to accept. So we don't want that to happen to anybody else. Please understand, we are not going to use your private emails to communicate with you, even the one you put on your application. You need to actually find out your UTD email, UTD email account, and deal with it accordingly. Okay, let me talk about academic dishonesty. I know I have only 15 minutes to complete this. This is a major issue sometimes for universities. And what is the code of conduct for students? I have a couple of links here for you. This is a very important links for you to look at. What is considered as plagiarism? I understand sometimes people come from different cultures. In some cultures, copying, talking to one another is okay. And this may not be something that we can condone here. And this issue actually came to us not from our perspective. It came to us by your employers. The employers of UTD students were complaining that some of our students seems like they have engaged in academic dishonesty to get to where they are. And this process has been put in place. We take this very seriously. University takes it very seriously. Everything that you do in this university has to be product of your work. We have to be able to assess you, and it cannot be done if you are sharing your data, you're sharing your homework, you're sharing your results with everyone. And it is very difficult to assess whether you have done this work on your own or your peers have helped you in that. We are not granting a degree to a group of people. We are granting a degree to you. So it would be strange that the person says, well, I can't do anything on my own. I have 3 other people I work with. We are not granting a degree to you. And in that degree, we say, well, there are 3 other people who help this person. It's just ridiculous and doesn't make any sense. So we have a very structured process. If you're ever accused of academic dishonesty, you will be hearing, and the committee will look at your case and find you responsible or not responsible. The issue really is that if you're found responsible for academic dishonesty, this will remain on your record for 5 to 7 years. Now, let me repeat that, 5 to 7 years. So most of you graduate within 2 years. And even if you're a PhD student, you're going to graduate in 4 years. So having this on your record for 5 to 7 years is a very serious issue, because when you get a job, the employers ask you to do a background check on you. Very often, federal and state authorities come here and check your record. Your employer is going to check your record. And it's very difficult to offer someone a job when they have been accused of academic dishonesty. You put yourself in the shoes of your employers, and you see that it's going to be very difficult to justify hiring you. And this is all because you copied the homework. It's really not worth it. So please review these links when you get this file very carefully. Okay. On to good news. We offer you a laptop. If you're a master student, you do not have a laptop, and you like to get a loaner from us, we distribute this to you as soon as you sign up. You can come to my office and talk to Joshua Sparza about getting a laptop, and we'll be glad to give you one for you to be successful. Okay, your paperless, everything is online, as I mentioned. If you do not receive a package which contains these slides that I just did, and then a course list and etc., please write to us in the chat box with your name and email address. Again, for those who did not, I did not invite. In other words, I did not invite you through the Teams. Please write to us in the chat box your name for our record, so we can send you the document that we did. All right, so we have online resources, graduate student resources. This link is very useful. Please follow it, and then you can follow us on Facebook and Twitter. We are online. So once again, welcome to UTD. We are very excited to have you here. We're excited to help you in your journey, in getting to a place that you want to get to, which is to be a engineer, to be a creator, to be a type of person that changes the environment, changes the world in a sense. Electrical engineers have done great things. Just look around you. Take a look at the technologies that we have invented and how we have contributed to society. So I look forward to working with you guys. Okay, so that's all end of my presentation. Let's look at the chat. Chat has been fairly long, so okay, so let me do this. There's a transcript here, so let me close the transcript. Let me look at the questions. Okay, so I'm going to start with the questions. Let's go down the list here. I guess let me get to the first question. The first question is there a tuition waivers for RAs? Yes, if you're a supported student, RA and TA, if you are a PhD student, not for master's, your tuition is waived. For the RAs, at this point, university pays for that, but it may change to the faculty. Okay. I'm not sure if I understand the question. It says $100 scholarships will be provided to us. It's not $100 scholarship, it's $1,000 Johnson scholarship, I believe. Okay, I don't see any more questions. Let me just open the floor then for questions.
Professor, I had a question.
Go ahead.
For the MS computer engineering degree plan, when you look at the form, there are only two concentrations that are listed in there, which is applied machine learning and embedded and VLSI systems. There's not a option for the computing systems concentrations.
Well, those are gone, because in the old computer engineering degree plan, there were computer systems or other areas. Those are gone. There is an option called none. If you look at it, the none can include, and this has to be decided. We are still working on this a little bit because there have been some confusion about it. You need to work with your advisor to see what that none means. I guess still you have to take the core classes, and then the electives can be selected so that it satisfies whatever area you want to get into.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
Hello, Professor.
Yes.
Yeah, I want to know that that $1,000 scholarship will be included in I-20, or is it included anywhere else?
No, it's not. The way it works is that once you're admitted, once you're here, in fact, it has to be done in April, before April, right? So there's a deadline, and that's done for the fall. So in your case, you guys are coming in spring, so it doesn't apply to you. So you apply, and that's when you're a student here, and it's nothing to do with your I-20. Okay.
Okay, so basically for spring people, that scholarship doesn't consider.
Right. Is this correct? No, that's not true for the teaching and research assistantship. If you're a teaching assistant or research assistant, again, you have to understand I-20 is a different process. But you're right in a sense that in order to get an I-20, you have to demonstrate that you have a financial backing. And that is a one-year commitment. In other words, you have to demonstrate that you have funding for 1 year, if I'm not mistaken. For the teaching and research assistantship, we offer you a letter saying that, yes, you'll be supported for 1 year. So you can use that to get your I-20. The scholarship is not for that. It's not sufficient. Your expenses for 1 year is not going to be $1,000. It's going to be a lot more, right? So even if you offer you a scholarship, even if it happens, it doesn't satisfy immigration requirement. Okay.
So, sir, I have a question.
Go ahead. Go ahead, and you can ask your question. Okay, I cannot hear anything. So let me go back to the list here. There's some questions. Which did the registration for classes start? The registration for undergraduate starts next week, but graduate registration could be a little bit later. Now, given that most of you are students that are applying here or international students, you have some steps to go through. So you're not late. And then registration is going to go on for a while. And semester doesn't start until January. So we have some time. Now, as you go to our website, you can see that in Galaxy, it tells you, if you log into Galaxy, it will tell you when you can start registering. So that information is there. The question is that when can I start doing internship? I suppose you can do internship as soon as your first semester is over. You have to be first semester. You have to take your first semester here, and then you can apply for an internship in the following semester.
Can we apply for the FAFSA form?
I'm sorry, what is that again?
No. FAFSA, federal assistantships, like they provide us.
Are you U.S. citizen?
Federal government.
Are you U.S. citizen?
Sir? No, I'm not a resident. For non-residents.
I'm not sure how that works, but as far as I'm concerned, this is for U.S. citizen and permanent residents,
Okay.
the federal loan. So if you're trying to get a federal loan, file a FAFSA, and that usually is for U.S. citizens.
Okay.
I'm not aware that foreign students can actually apply for that, but I may be wrong.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
You can actually contact ISSO and ask them that question, but I am pretty sure this is not the case, and
Okay.
that students have to be U.S. citizens.
Okay. Thank you.
It's a question that says I have not paid the application fee, but I got admitted. So for processing I-20, I believe, I'm not sure how you even got admitted. If you haven't paid the application fee, your application is not processed. Now, my question is, this may have been an oversight, but sometimes people who have financial issues, they can waive the admission application fee. But that's a process that you have to file. If you didn't file for that and you got admitted, there could be a problem with I-20. So you need to contact ISSO and ask them about that particular, because we don't issue ISSO. We don't issue I-20. And then the question is, how can I get my UT Dallas email? The moment you go through the acknowledgement form and you're formally admitted to that, applied for that, you'll be emailed information about Galaxy, your UTD email, and then you can log in and to Galaxy and see all the required forms you need. My understanding was when you apply to UTD, you should have received the UTD email. So I'm not sure why you have not, but that's maybe for you guys, it could be that because we're graduate students, they have to do the acknowledgement form. The question is, can we have a recorded version of this? This recorded is a large file. We're going to put it on YouTube. We have a YouTube link, and it's going to be a link there for you to watch.
Professor, I had another question.
Go ahead.
What if you're accepted in two different? What if you're pursuing a dual degree master's program? Would you have to submit two different degree plans for your majors? So would it be a separate degree plan for the other masters? Even if you
I don't believe we have a dual degree.
We don't, but I'm saying
You
that
have to
you
get
can.
two different masters.
Yeah, exactly.
So
You can.
Right. You can do concurrently, but you have there's two separate things. So it's like two different degrees. You get admitted to both of them. And I'm not sure. I mean, if you're, let's say within EE, you want to do two concentrations, something like that. I don't think they allow you to do that. You can't get two degree. Yeah. But let's say you want to get an EE and a CE degree. Again, the Office of OGE can tell you if that is possible, because I don't think you can get two degrees in the same department from the same school at the same time. Graduate is different than undergraduate. Undergraduate, people have dual degree. We don't have dual degree for graduate.
I know you can't get two degrees within the same program, but I'm pursuing a degree within a different program. And within that program, I can include CE and EE classes within that program. Like that, I can account those classes for that program as well. So would I have to submit two different forms for that, even if they are the same classes?
Right. I can answer that. I've never seen the scenario in my 35 years here. So, so you're trying to do something that is people normally do not do. Here's the issue. The issue is that you cannot cross-count the courses. So let's say the E and CE, they have a lot of courses in common, actually, the electives. You have to take separate classes. In other words, the same rule applies, that you're trying to graduate, getting some classes from other program into this one. So there's a limit of how many classes you can do that. but you cannot just take the core classes from two different discipline and say, well, I'm going to get 2 different degrees, electives being common. Probably won't work. But, yeah. But anyways, your situation is very unique. And if you want to discuss this, I think this is not the forum for it.
Okay.
We can sit down and we can look at what you're trying to do. And you have to talk to Office of Graduate Education. These folks have to approve your final degree plan and whether you can graduate or not. But is it possible to get 2 degrees completely different? Can I get a master's in electrical engineering, a master's in mechanical engineering? Yes, you can. You can actually do 2 masters at the same time. But if it's 2 degrees that are so closely related, because CE and EE fall into the same department, even though it says it's a different program, but it's the same department. So it's 2 degrees in the same department. It's more complicated. We gotta talk to OGE and see. But I'll deal with your situation separately if you want. After the presentation here, we can talk. Okay.
Sure. Okay.
Hello, Professor.
Yes.
Yeah, I have heard that if you are getting $1,000 scholarship, then your tuition fee will be half. Suppose the tuition fee is $28,000 US, and if you have got $1,000 scholarship, then your tuition fee will be half of the actual.
No,
tuition.
I don't know. It's going to be in state, whatever the in-state
Yes.
tuition is. I can't tell you how much that is. I don't have the numbers, but it's in-state tuition. It would be the tuition that people in Texas pay, people who state of residents of Texas pay. So it's going to be, I'm sure it's less.
Yeah, so if someone have received $1,000 scholarship, then their tuition fee will be counted as in-state tuition fee.
Right, correct. But I don't want to mislead people. Last year we offered 20 people. It's not like everyone is going to get this scholarship. This is very much GPA dependent, depending on your performance here. So it's a rare thing. It's not necessarily, we have 500 people coming in and only 20 people get, so you can do the math. So I just want to make sure that we understand this is not as common as you might think.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
All right. I guess I see Sirisha hand is up.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Actually, what is the minimum to maximum amount we have to show in our bank statement for applying to I-20? The tuition.
This is something for ISSO. I can't answer that question. It's typically 1 year of your expenses, and they have
actually they were showing 25,000 US dollars.
Right, that's what it is. That's what it is. Right.
Okay.
Now, if you're a teaching assistant or research assistant, typically your pay, monthly pay is about $22,000. So it amounts to $24,000. So again, that letter that we sent you shows that you have $24,000 paid per year or whatever for the first year, and that's why they can issue I-20. Okay.
So $25,000 is pretty good amount to show on.
Whatever they're telling you, this is nothing to do with my office. This is with ISSO. These are the guys who are just going to send you I-20. So you do make sure that when you talk to them.
I just want to make sure if that is the year amount.
Yeah, for 1 year. It's 1 year support.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, in the acknowledge from me, we have to select the prerequisite. How do I know what classes should I choose? Okay, so I guess I want to emphasize this again. First, if you have chosen your area of concentration, you can actually look at the core classes. That's very important first. And look at the prerequisite for the core classes. These are known. It's a known information. You can actually, right now as this presentation, or you can go to our website, look at the concentrations and see what the core are. And take a look at those classes, see what the prerequisites are. Make sure you have those. That's one thing. Now, their electives are also important, but electives are electives. We have a variety of electives. So once you meet your advisor, made an appointment and meet your advisor, you guys can sit down and fill out the electives, and you can look at those electives, see what the prerequisite for them are. this point is that there is no reason for you not to deal or talk to your advisor at this point in time. If you're admitted, you can do that. You don't have to wait until you show up on campus to do that. So, now sometimes, as was mentioned by John here, that if you had some deficiencies, your leveling courses is the one that you have to take. But that's not always the case. In other words, you may still take the leveling classes, still do not have the prerequisite for certain classes. Like for instance, we do not put probability as a leveling class. It's not listed. So, but you may take a class that is heavy using machine learning, and this machine learning class says you have to have a probability class as a prerequisite as an undergraduate. So you may have to take that. So that's what my point was, to take a look at the classes, see what the prerequisites you have. But if you're given a leveling classes, you have to take it. This is not an option. You have to take those leveling classes. So that's a different story altogether. Okay, so people choosing a focus track is limited to any count, or any number of students can opt for one specialization track offered by course. I'm not really sure what you're asking. You have core classes that you have to take, and you have electives that you can choose to do whatever you want with it. If it has to be from the list of electives that we suggest for that area. So let's say, as you saw, for computer engineering in the VLSI, there's a list of courses you have to take from them. And you have some room to choose the classes you want, and basically give yourself a little bit more depth in that. Or you can just get a more breadth by looking at taking courses that have covered different areas. I don't know if I've answered your question. This is a question by Yogesh. You can unmute yourself, and that's okay too. Again, the same question about the registration. As I mentioned, this is going to be on, once you log into the Galaxy, it shows you when you can start registering. But some of these actions that I talked about meeting with your advisor, working on your degree plan, this can be done even before registration starts. I know that some of you guys are so concerned about registration because in some situation, undergraduate classes, the classes get filled. We don't have classes filled. Well, I mean, it can happen, but we do not get undergraduate classes filled very quickly. So you will always be able to sign up. Now, certain classes, certain core classes, for instance, they can fill up very fast, but those classes are offered every semester. So you won't have any problem taking them later. Someone is asking about the final transcript. Yes, you can register, but the problem is there may be a hold on your registration. Now, you have to submit all the documents. Now, you can submit your official transcript, which may show your pending graduation or pending semester, and that's fine. That should be able to remove your hold on your account. Okay. I have a Yogesh hand is up.
Yeah, hi, Professor. Hope you can hear me.
Yes, I can.
Yeah, first, thank you for patiently answering all of our questions. I have one question. So, if you can see computer engineering, so there are focus tracks called, one is for applied machine learning and another one is related to embedded. So, is there any limit of students that can opt for any one specialization, or like any number of students can opt for a specialization?
We're talking about there's a quota in numbers.
Yeah, maybe like a count of students that can opt
Right.
for.
We don't keep quotas. If
Okay.
500 students admitted and 499 want to do machine learning, that would be fine.
Great. Yeah, that answers my question. Thank
You're
you.
not gonna say, okay, look, that track is filled. Usually that happens with the classes that we have. The classes get filled. Let's say for CE 60-20, I guess, that one gets filled very fast. But we don't have any restriction on how many people are in a given concentration.
Yeah, great. Good to know. Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? There was a question, are you referring to TA position or RA? Not question, I guess there was an answer. Okay, any other questions? Okay, so we are past our time. I think it was supposed to end at 3. So I know some of you are staying up late. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to end the presentation. You guys know where we are. You know who we are. Welcome again. And please don't hesitate to send us emails. You have more information about who are the people to contact. Anything regarding academic side, my office, Joshua is here, and I guess Kimberly's not, but we can answer your questions. We can help you with your registration. Anything that has to do with the financial side or ISSO, a different department handles that. So we are not able to help you with those, but they are very helpful. Those offices, ISSO office is very helpful, helping you to find your way here. So with that, I'm going to end the presentation. And again, once again, thank you for coming to this. And it's very important. We covered a lot of important information for you. And looking forward to seeing you on campus. Thank you all.